Is muted. Ah! Can you hear me now? I was muted. We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Jay Johnson going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, going absolutely bananas in the transfer portal. So we obviously did not do a show since Tommy Big Tanks committed to LSU and Christian Little. We kind of been hinting at it on social media over the last 4 days. Nevertheless, Jay Johnson completely cleaning house inside the transfer portal to get LSU back to their coveted place and their coveted home in Nebraska, in Omaha. So we will talk on Tommy Tanks. We will talk on Christian Little and all things what Jay Johnson's doing in the portal, some things you may not know. So, Pooh Bear. Do we have some sources? Ruh-roh. Jay Johnson ain't done yet. Jay Johnson ain't done yet. So for everybody that will listen, you know, about 10 to 15,000 of you listen every night. I want you to change the narrative and start calling Jay Johnson the Portal King. Pooh Bear, print the shirts, hashtag Portal King, and at the end of King, I want a little crown, like his name's King Arthur, up in this hoe. Because Jay Johnson's absolutely killing it. We will touch on it. Myself and Matt Trent from WBRZ got to sit down with LSU quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan on Thursday. I'm not going to give you everything in the interview. I'm just going to give you one or two key pieces, key things that I took away from my conversation or our conversation from Joe Sloan. And I'm pretty sure that interview will be up on Monday. We'll be getting some more coaches at LSU within the next couple of weeks. Brian Kelly, if you're listening, text your boy back. Come on, coach. Text your boy back. But that interview should be airing nevertheless Monday. But we will touch on that as well. Shout out to the Ole Miss Rebels. Pooh Bear, did you know Ole Miss won, obviously, which everybody probably knows now, the Ole Miss Rebels just won the College World Series. Impressively enough, though, since 2011, the SEC has won 6 national titles in college baseball. And in one of those seasons, it was COVID, and the season was canceled. So really and truthfully, over the last 9 seasons, the SEC has won 6 of them. Absolutely fantastic. Shout out to former LSU Tiger and catcher Mike Bianco on his first national title. Nobody really deserves it more than Mike. He has built Ole Miss and Ole Miss baseball in their first national title ever. Build the statue, name the field after him. The man that walks like Skip Bergman himself. Build the statue. So crazy how sports changes things, man. The last team in, they wanted Mike Bianco fired. Nevertheless, he comes out and he just wins a national title and just says, all over you. What you gonna do about it? What you gonna do, brother, when Mike Bianco and the Ole Miss Rebels run wild on you? Probably shouldn't say that because Hulk Hogan's a piece of shit. But nevertheless, Jeff says, had Archie not dropped the fly ball, they would have beat Oregon State as well. I know that's what Pooh Bear said before the show started. Like Pooh Bear. Hey, Pooh, it's so funny, bro. You know, it's so funny because you know baseball. You know, some people come in like Twitter spaces and they know more baseball than anybody. But Pooh actually knew when Arkansas got beat by Oregon State on the fly ball. He knew what line it was hit down. Am I being a little petty there, Pooh? If I am, F them. This old vet says, well, that was fun. Yeah, it was fun. James Washington in the building. What's going on, guys? Let's get to a couple comments and then we'll get rolling. Charlie Viator says, any football recruiting news? Well, um, uh-oh. Do we have some more breaking news? No. Yes. All right, we do have some breaking news. Hold on. Pooh, we got some breaking news. All right, breaking from Kendall Rogers. LSU baseball is hiring Twins pitching coach Wes Johnson and as its new pitching coach, reports Kendall Johnson. Johnson has spent the last 4 seasons with the Twins and marks a blockbuster hire for Jay Johnson. So, look, Jay is going completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs with these hires. Pooh, can you get Kendall Rogers' tweet and do the share screen? And let's bring that up very quickly. So we do have some breaking news. Jay Johnson has just hired Wes Johnson, the Twins pitching coach. Absolutely insane. This man is going for the jugular. I mean, the absolute jugular when it comes to recruiting. Insane. All right, well, let's do this very quickly, Pooh, and then you can bring it up here. Let's pay the bills very quickly, and then we'll put it up there, and we'll talk about everything Jay Johnson's doing. Very quickly, let's talk about our good friends over at GM Barno & Sons at betonline.ag. A lot of news we got to talk about, so stay tuned, stay with us. Jay Johnson's going crazy. Our partners over at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all of your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's easy to get started, so head on over to their website. Use betonline.ag. Use that promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. That's BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. Betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Vardo & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Okay, looking at Wes Johnson, Pooh, if you have it, go ahead and let's pull it up here on the shared screen. But this is per Kendall Rogers over at D1 Baseball. Just to read it again, breaking, LSU Baseball is hiring Twins pitching coach Wes Johnson as its new pitching coach, sources tell D1 Baseball. Johnson has spent the last 4 seasons with the Twins and marks a blockbuster hire for Jay Johnson. Let me give a little bit of sourcing to what I do know. And I've kind of hinted on this on social media when we talked about Tommy Tanks or Tommy White, which we will get to when we found out that he was on campus, and Christian Little, and we started hinting about LSU going after an SEC pitcher. Guys, and I said this on Twitter Spaces, and this doesn't really have to do a lot with Wes Johnson, but it has to do with LSU athletics as a whole. Guys, you better stop telling me LSU is behind in NIL. Guys, you better stop telling me that LSU is behind when it comes to spending money for coaches, when it's behind in spending money for whatever it may be. Guys, how in the Rudy, and this will spark a Ruffino's rants. Probably I should have put it in the comments, but I didn't. You cannot convince me and tell me on things that I'm hearing, not just from LSU baseball, but LSU football and basketball alike. Guys, LSU and their parties and their boosters and everything that is attributed around LSU athletics, and I forgot to even put this in the comments as well, is Michaela Williams, the #1 recruit in the country for women's basketball, just committed to Kim Mulkey and the LSU women's Tigers basketball team. Guys, the bill was passed in NIL a little bit over than a week ago, and all of a sudden you've seen big things happen in recruiting. Football's coming right down the way. I promise you it is. So, Pooh, I don't want to say I'm taking a victory lap here, but when we're pounding on the table saying LSU's not behind, do you believe us now? Do you believe? BLEAV, believe. What a huge hire for Jay Johnson. You know, I was told by some, but Blake, your sources were wrong, because we hinted in Twitter Spaces last night that Jay was going after a pitching coach in the Major League Baseball ranks. I didn't have a name at that time. Obviously, now Kendall broke the story. It's Wes Johnson. What a huge hire. Some were saying that Christian Ostrander, the pitching coach from Southern Miss, was a lock and a done deal. It was never a done deal. Never a done deal. You got to give it a huge round of applause for Jay Johnson and what he's doing. But Jay has backing that I don't think that really Paul Mainieri had. You guys, Tommy Tanks, who was probably the best freshman hitter that we've ever seen in college baseball, maybe ever, hit 365, 27 home runs, 74 RBIs, 85 hits. He is a monster at the plate. And then the only thing that Jay Johnson has done other than that is he goes and gets Wes Johnson as his pitching coach, and then he goes and gets Christian Little. You mean to tell me that Christian Little, the one-time Vanderbilt pitcher who went 6-1 a season ago with a 1.88 ERA, did not know that Wes Johnson was coming? Big money being sent. Big money being sent down the way for LSU baseball. Guys, if you have people doing it for LSU baseball, stop telling me they're not doing it for football when you have no idea what the F you're talking about. Jay's not done. Guys, Jay's not done with the portal. I think that you'll hear some announcements later on. It won't be right now. As soon as the draft is over and some of these freshmen or guys that will be freshmen, when they don't go into the draft and they come to LSU, you will start seeing some more guys from the portal coming to LSU. Jay Johnson is putting an all-star team together. I could make the argument right now. I fully believe I can make the argument right now. And I know some will say, well, Blake, who's a shortstop? We'll wait and see. I think Jay might have could put together the best infield that LSU's ever had. Ever. Guys, from a hitting standpoint, some of the things Jay is going to do in the portal and continue to do in the portal, Jay will have one of the best lineups LSU's ever seen. And we saw what Ole Miss just did. Their bats were red hot, but you got to go get guys that can pitch and give you 6, 7, 8, and sometimes, like we saw with Ben DeLucia, give you a 9-inning complete game shutout and have 17 strikeouts on the biggest stage. That's how Ole Miss won. They were clutch at the plate, and their pitching just dominated from start to finish. And Jay's doing that. Look, I will be open and honest. And I've said this on the show before. When Jay was hired, I was a little bit skeptical. Guy never coached in the SEC. I didn't know if he would understand or grasp early on the magnitude of what it meant to coach in the SEC. But he surely as hell is doing some fantastic things in recruiting. And it would seem that one season in Baton Rouge has made him completely turn things around for this team. Guys, your first 5 hitters, your first 5 guys to come up to the plate in no specific order: Pearson, Cruz. You can make the argument for who's third. I'm going to go ahead and say Tanks or whatever, the lineup will be. Joe Bear, although he hit 250, had almost 20 home runs. Trey Morgan, Gavin Dugas, Jack Pineda, who's a friend of us and a friend of the show. And shout out to Jack. He was on a couple of days ago. The only thing that Jack Pineda did was hit 300 and hit 8 home runs and play really good shortstop. Man, it's unreal what LSU, and look, I go on like the Bill King show every week. Shout out to my good friend Bill King. But the big thing, and he always asks me this, I think for other fan bases, it should show what LSU is willing to do for baseball. Guys, don't tell me it's LSU football, then LSU basketball, then LSU baseball. It's never going to be that again. If it ever really was over my lifetime, over the 32 years that my sexy ass has been alive. LSU fans, LSU guys are spending the money. Let's not be naive. You do not go and get Tommy White if you're not laying the smack it down on the NIL game. Bottom line. Bottom line. Adam B asked, let's get to a couple of these comments, Pooh, but Adam B asked, what happens to Trey and Tanks goes to first base? You know, I don't know, and I think it's way too early to tell. I don't know if Tommy Tanks can play third. I would assume he would probably want to play first or third. I don't know that. But it would be interesting for me to see if Trey makes a leap into outfield, into left field, or I don't know if he runs well. And I don't think he's fast enough to play center other than like a Dylan Cruz, but we'll see. The Pirate says, I don't think Little is a Friday or Saturday night starter. He went 6-1 with a 1.88 ERA. What are you talking about? His ERA was 1.88. And you don't and with that team, you don't know? Do you not remember him shutting dudes down in Omaha? Shit. Bet you he does. I bet you he is. But look, even if he's not, they're still going to have to go get guys in that rotation. Jeff 2 says, I'm a lifelong Alabama fan, but am also an Ole Miss alumni. I am happy for my Ole Miss friends, but also to remind them 99% of what wanted Mike Bianco fired over the last 15 years. Let that sink in. Yeah, Jeff, I mean, and look, there were a lot of people that did not, when LSU was looking for a pitching coach, did not want Mike Bianco to come here, and I'll be honest, I was one of them. I was obviously wrong there. So for that reason alone, I will retract what I said. And I was wrong, man. I was wrong about Mike. And he got they were 15 and 13 and or 5 and 13 in the SEC when they came into Baton Rouge and swept LSU to go to 8 and 13. And they didn't really stop. Pooh Bear, can you do me a favor? Can you look up when's the last time Ole Miss? I think it's the SEC. I'm almost 1,000% positive because they obviously didn't win the SEC tournament. How long ago has it been from a dates perspective? How long ago has it been since Ole Miss has lost a game? So we know it was the SEC tournament, but from a date perspective, I want to know like how long ago that was. Because, guys, it might be a month and a half since Ole Miss has lost a baseball game. That is unreal and unheard of in the tournament. Guys, they didn't lose one. It's unreal, man. Dylan Smith says Blake hasn't been wrong with this stuff yet. Just saying. Not on baseball. Not on this. Okay. Yeah, they did lose to Arkansas and Omaha. That's right. Okay. That's right. I was off on that one. Pooh Bear, when was their last loss was in the SEC tournament game, but before that loss to Arkansas, when was the last time they lost? Yeah, they did lose to Arkansas. That's on me. Travis says even better than a 93-mile-an-hour slider. Shit, who's throwing a 93-mile-an-hour slider? The Pirate says you are mistaken. Mississippi State beat him 13-0 in game 2. Robert play. I mean, Pirate. It seems that you're a Mississippi State fan and you're angry about what happened just now with Ole Miss. Where was Mississippi State in the postseason? You're talking about a kid being bad. You're coming to an LSU show and you're talking about a kid being bad, and you're talking about Mississippi State, and y'all didn't even make the tournament. Oh, we're national titles last year. PC97 says put Morgan in right and tanks it first. I don't think Trey's got a big enough arm. Aunt Marshall says a healthy Trey Morgan is going to be a difference next year. I agree with that wholeheartedly. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. The comments are flying in. All right, here it is. So they lost to, here it is. All right, so Ole Miss lost to Vanderbilt 1-3. Go down, Pooh. So they beat Arizona. What date is that? Uh-oh. That's on May 24th. So from May 24th to when they got beat by Arkansas. Go down. Let's see. Until June 22nd. Guys, they almost went an entire month without losing a game. Nevertheless, what my point was trying to be is they went an entire month, almost an entire month without losing a game. It's insane, man. It's insane. All right, Pooh, I appreciate the edit. Look at Pooh Bear making the edits, dude. Hey, who's more of an impressive hire, Wes Johnson or Blake Ruffino hiring Pooh Bear? I know what I'm going to pick. Andrew Martin says Ole Miss could have been 5-13 prior to playing us. We were 14-10 going into that series. That game, the games don't add up. Well, if they were 5-13, we weren't 14-10, were we? Maybe they were. Maybe they were 5-13. Would they have? No. Let's see. Pooh may have to go back there too. 7-14. There you go. I was 2 off. I'm missing a little bit tonight, Pooh. I'm missing a little. 7-14. Aunt Marshall says Christian Little didn't pitch against Mississippi State this year. Boy, we got some fact checking up in here tonight, dude. We got some fact checking up in here. Some fact checking. Julian says, do you think the kid from South Lake Carroll can be a Sunday starter? We'll see. We'll see, man. I don't know. Let's see which kids actually make it to campus, though. Let's see what kids actually make it to campus, because you never know what's going to happen. Reagan Lee says, give me a comp for the Wes Johnson hire. I got to be honest. If we're being very frank and brutally honest, I mean, from a stat, I mean, because remember when we hired Alan Dunn, right? When we hired Alan Dunn, Alan was if I'm not mistaken, he was a minor league pitching coach. He wasn't in the major leagues. Now, I don't know specifically what's going to happen here. Does Wes Johnson coach out the rest of the season for the Twins, and then he comes later in the fall, if they get all the way to October, when is the transition for Wes Johnson for when he comes? Guys, I don't know that. I don't know that yet. I would assume that he may coach out the rest of the season, but that's just a guess. Somebody's going to have to, because when we were obviously on doing the show when the news broke. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure of that. Dylan Smith says LSU needs more pitching. Ole Miss proved that. Absolutely. They got your boy from Creighton, and they're not done. They're not done in the portal with pitching. They are not done in the portal with pitching. I promise you that. After the draft, I fully do expect them for some things to be announced. And when that happens, it's going to be glorious. And look, you could probably make an argument if they do get some more of the kids in the portal after coming up with the number one class in high school, LSU could be LSU could be the number one team in the country coming in. Kevin Broussard sends us some stars via Facebook. Thank you so much. So does Travis. Thank you, Travis. I appreciate it. Pooh, if we have any, just put them on up here, and we'll read them off somewhat as we go. Marvin Mackey says, Blake, what quarterbacks left on the board for LSU? I like Reese Mooney. Puns intended here, but the more and more that Dante Moore's recruitment goes on, it feels to me to be leaning a little bit more Oregon, but I could be wrong there. And look, you might have to circle back to a Ricky Collins from Woodlawn and Baton Rouge. You might have to circle back to Reese Mooney. Maybe there's some national guys that you have to go in as well. We'll be talking about that Joe Sloan interview too. I'll give you some 2 points after the break when we talk to Coach Sloan. Jamie says, does go after a pitcher from Arkansas that entered the portal. I think he went to Barb. Yeah, I mean, look, man, you got to go get any guys with really good arms that can be elite starting pitchers in the SEC. Now, I don't know about the kid that entered the portal, but we'll see. Michael B says, with Jaden Rashada to Miami and hearing more now leaning to Oregon, do you think Ricky Collins holds up his Purdue commitment? No. I think, it would appear to me that LSU's got to go all after that kid at this point if Moore does commit. But let me do this. Let me remember when I'm old enough to remember. If you missed it this week, Billy Napier did an open letter to the press and to the fan base and basically cowered. I'm not going to read it or anything like that. And we'll have Gator Dave on this week because we'll go around the SEC, around your SEC. Man, what a bad look for Billy Napier. All these fans and me, especially in the media, so many people pounding on the table for Billy Napier and that he was a better coach, and said who? I mean, if we're being open about everything, it would appear that Billy Napier is in a little bit over his head. Look, you lose Rashada, and some will say, well, it was a money thing. And look, I get all that. But if you're losing in recruiting, the last thing that you need to do is go out there and talk about an open letter and give an open letter and say, we're not getting into bidding wars. Florida is better than that. No, dog, you're not. No, you're not. The reason you're talking about not getting in bidding wars, you were in the middle of a bidding war for Jaden Rashada. And you lost to Cristobal. Bottom line was Billy Napier put so much into his staff about recruiting Louisiana, and Frank Wilson and Brian Kelly ran their happy asses out of Louisiana. Derek Williams is going to high school. The 5-star safety in Louisiana is going to Westgate, where Coy Raymond graduated from, and he's not even visiting Florida. He's not even visiting Florida. That's how you know you're Rudy Poo. Robbie Robeek says, go ahead and buy your tickets and book your rooms. LSU will be in Omaha next year. Yeesh. I ain't going to go there yet. I mean, a lot of people thought Tennessee was going to Omaha too. They got to put it all together. Chris English says they offered Brock Glenn, but he's favored to go to Auburn. Chance Babin says Tommy Tanks was a stud third baseman in high school. Can't be worse than Barry at third. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Dog, Jacob was struggled. Julian Ramirez says a kid committed to Florida State 30 minutes after his official visit to Florida today. I saw that. Everybody do us a favor and hit the like and share as well. I saw that. Interesting. Very interesting. Actually, honestly, very crazy if you really want to get down to it. Chris English says, "Oh my God, Napier has Florida fans ready to burn the buildings down." He does. Andrew Martin says, "I believe getting Wes Johnson is enough to persuade Hurd to leave UCLA for us." Well, look, there's a lot of rumors that J.S., maybe would take the kid. But Christian Ostrander was never a lock. I mean, I wanted Christian Ostrander, but like we said Wednesday, there might be a guy that Jay's going after that, quite honestly, that we haven't heard of or even are talking about, and that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. Reagan Lee says, "What other pitchers are we targeting?" I think Hurd from UCLA's one. And you got some of the guys that are freshmen that are coming in, hopefully, not all of them go into the draft. I don't think all of them will. You got two left-handed guys. I think one of them may go, but the other not. When we got to get Benny Latino in here for him to talk about it. James Washington says, "That's some good water that you drinking there, Blake." Yeah, man. I carved it. Never mind. I ain't going to say because they'll cancel me. I can say it in spaces. Let me go get my spear. Don't cancel me. James knows it's an inside joke. James be coming in them Twitter spaces, ribbing on people. It's just a joke. Everybody relax. See, James is already laughing. Let me go get my spear. All right. Jamie says, "My bad. It was the Mississippi State, not Arkansas pitcher Jack Walker that was from Barb. He didn't pitch much this year. No, he did not." Okay, let's do this. As I mentioned in the beginning of the show, if you're just joining us, we got to sit down with LSU quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan. I'm not going to give the entire 35, 40-minute interview that we did with Coach Joe Sloan, but I'm going to talk about two things that stood out to me from quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan and what I think LSU fans should be looking forward to. Okay, let's do this, though, Pooh. Let's pay these bills very quickly, and then we'll transition into some football. We'll continue on the baseball stuff. If you have any questions, fire them inside the Rudy Crew chat at #AskBlake, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. But let's talk about our good friends over at Gramco. My good friend Carol Foss over at State Farm. Guys, we'll be back in a minute and a half. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramco.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramco.com. Use that promo code AYS25. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Foss and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Foss has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. All right, I was trying to find out, and I sent out a text to some people around LSU baseball about Wes Johnson. How's he going to do that? So if we're still here, I will tell you what the plans are for Coach Johnson. This is going to be weird though. Like, which Coach Johnson are you talking about? But Pooh, I already know what the Golden Boot podcast is doing their show at 7:30. I already know what it's already going on in Pooh Bear's head. Johnson and Johnson, like he's going to be making the shirts, aren't you, Pooh? Johnson and Johnson. Don't get their vaccine though. I ain't getting political. Y'all stop it. The Pirate says, and just for the record, I play football at Southeastern Louisiana, just like you did. Good for you, brother. Good for you. Sherry Berry says, I just listen in the spaces, but it does get crazy in there. Sherry, you need to come in there and start talking. Ryan Williams says, cooking a big pot of jambalaya from scratch on the stove. It has me seriously ready for football season. What are your thoughts on jambalaya, Blake? What's interesting, I think Southern Miss fans don't know how to cook jambalaya. I think it's ass. People in jambalaya have no idea what they're talking about when they're cooking jambalaya, but that's neither here nor there. Pooh Bear says there will be no Johnsons on Golden Boot Pod shirts. There will be no Johnsons on Golden Boot Paul shirts. All right. It took me a second. It took me a second. It took me a second to figure out what Pooh Bear was saying here. It took me a second. Yeah, you got me. Okay. So Thursday, myself and Matt Trent from WBRZ interviewed LSU quarterbacks coach Joe Sloan. And look, it was about a 40-minute interview that we had for him. And me and Matt will be doing these exclusive interviews probably until football season starts, maybe even some during football season. So be on the lookout for these interviews, and we'll be doing players, coaches, and not just LSU head coaches and things like that. I think we'll try to get Coach Frank Selfo from Southeastern on the show, and so just be on the lookout for it. But, guys, Joe Sloan is a very impressive dude. And not just an impressive dude, but highly intellectual, a very intelligent guy. And just sitting there talking to him about football in general, like we weren't asking him who the starting quarterback was. Like, guys, he's not going to tell us anyway. Why do you want me to ask him who the starting quarterback is going to be when he's not going to tell us anyway live on an open camera? It's not going to happen. The biggest thing for me, and that interview will be coming out Monday, Michael. I see your comment. The biggest thing for me is the connection that Mike Denbrock, Joe Sloan, and Brian Kelly have. Guys, it's pretty damn impressive. Mike Denbrock comes off as a guy to me who's, when it's time to be serious, he's extremely serious. But when it's time to joke around and play around and make everybody smile and have a good time, he's that dude. And in talking with Joe, he's kind of like the silent assassin, right? Like, I'm not going to say, and I don't want to put this comparison on him, and not to say that Joe Sloan reminds me of a conversation that I had personally had with Joe Brady, but the football knowledge and intellect of those two young men, and they're younger men, is insane. You got Sloan. I'm fully convinced. I am fully convinced, guys, LSU's going to throw the football in a spread, and they're going to run it down your throat from a spread RPO concept. Fully convinced. Saw Garrett Nussmeier on the way in. He looked really good. He looked ready to go. Looked like he had put on some pounds. Chatted with him for a little bit. Looked good. And look, man, you just got to give Joe Sloan a lot of credit. Those guys in that room are learning a lot from him. The football IQ in that room when Joe Sloan is in there. And look, you got Jane Daniels, you got Miles Brennan, you have Garrett Nussmeier, you have Walker Howard. Walker Howard, dad played quarterback at LSU. Nussmeier's dad has been a quarterback's coach, has been in the college, has been in the NFL. Miles Brennan has been here for a while, and Jane Daniels has been with Joe Sloan for a little while now. And look, you can say whatever you want to about Herm Edwards, but Herm Edwards has seen a lot of damn football. The football IQ in that room is insane. It's insane. The concepts that he's teaching these guys, the way that he is maneuvering through all of this, in my personal opinion, is highly impressive. And I think that he would be one of those guys that when it's all said and done, like when we talk to Joe Sloan, for me, I feel like I'm talking to a future head coach. I feel like I'm talking to a future head coach at the P5 level. And I don't say that about a lot of people, but it's insane the football knowledge that this man has. And you could talk to any coaches around the SEC. They hold Joe Sloan in very high regard. him getting hired at LSU, the question I asked him about getting hired at LSU is really funny. Is really funny. Tom says, Blake, you must not know anything about how to cook a pot of jambalaya. Dude, I'm 293 pounds. What do you mean? I've been cooking jambalaya since the early 90s. Jordan says, silver lining is Rashada at Florida, no Manning at Bama or Georgia. True. Yeah, and look, we didn't even talk about Arch Manning yet. We hadn't done a show since Arch Manning, and I'm sure you guys are, I'm assuming you're all Arch Manninged out at this point. Arch Manning was never coming here. Arch Manning was never coming here. The timing of when they do it and the timing that they do it right before the Manning Passing Academy, maybe so, Arch isn't asked 100 billion times where he's going. It's probably why they did it. It was not a fault of Ed Orgeron. It's not a fault of Joe Sloan or Brian Kelly. The kid was never coming here. The Mannings don't care. Listen to me. The Mannings do not care about the school. I hate to say, and Ole Miss fans will disagree with this, they don't give a shit about Ole Miss. They don't give a shit about Tennessee. And quite honestly, they don't give a shit about Texas. Their only worry is what coach out there can develop the quarterback, Eli, Peyton, whoever it may be, and develop them to get them to the NFL. When Steve Sarkisian hired David Cutcliffe, before David Cutcliffe went to the SEC as the advisor to Greg Sankey, so he's no longer at Texas, should have told people what was always going on. And I would assume that David Cutcliffe gave the nod of approval to Steve Sarkisian and why the Mannings went there. It has nothing to do with LSU. It has nothing to do with Ole Miss. It has nothing to do with, maybe it does a little with Lane Kiffin. The kid was never coming here. Never. The only man on God's green planet that I give a chance to go out there and recruit this kid to come to LSU is Jay Johnson at this point. No cap. What's Pooh Bear talking about here? Quote unquote, give me a pot and stand back. Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. What y'all know about that? That's a fat boy thing. Tyler Townsend says, I see Joe Sloan being LSU's next OC. I don't know about next OC, but I'm telling you, sitting down and talking to him, I fully believe that in 5-6 years, we're going to all look up, and I'm going to come on here on this show, and I'm going to say to myself, man, this guy had, 6 years ago, this man had every making of being a Power 5 head coach. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Let's see. Poe English says, what defense are we running? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to talk to Matt House about that. Maybe we are doing that this week. What do I know? I'm just a fat offensive lineman from Louisiana. What do I know? Rick says, so glad that the Arch sweepstakes are over. Correct, Blake. He was never coming to Baton Rouge. No, he was never coming to Baton Rouge. Never. Guys, he was not coming here. And I know that some people, you'll just have to listen to the interview. Keegan Mognan. I don't know if this is the Keegan that I'm thinking about, but it's spelled the same. Is this Twitter Keegan? Pooh Bear, is this Twitter Keegan? If not, I can answer this question for you, Keegan, but I don't think you'll believe it. He asked, what was the Jamar Cain tweet about? Jamar Cain did tweet before the show, about an hour before the show, I think. He gave like a little gif or gif, whatever you call it, and it was a little laughing thing. It was about a recruit. Jamar Cain might be about to run some he might be about to get some recruits, but that's neither here nor there, right? That's neither here nor there. I think Jamar Cain's about to make some moves. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious. Yes. I see some comments. Michaela Williams, the number one prospect. Kim Mulkey doing work. I'm going to do this because the Golden Boot podcast is coming up in about 40 minutes. It's a huge day. This is what I'll say about it, and I'll give Aunt Marshall the floor for it. So y'all go over there and talk to him. Because he's from the 318 and he's seen the girl play much more than I have at this point. Okay, very quickly. Jay Johnson will be giving what's going on with Wes Johnson to end out the season. So I just sent out a text. Jay Johnson will be talking about what's going on with the new LSU pitching coach. But it's a huge day. It was a huge day Friday morning, and it just started at 8 o'clock. Michaela Williams, the number one prospect in the country from women's basketball, committed to LSU. Now, she sat down with Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com, and Mike asked her some pretty big questions. Before Kim Mulkey was hired, Michaela Williams said that she was never coming to LSU. LSU wasn't even close to being in the running. And that Kim had a lot of ground to make up, and she obviously did it. What a hell of a day for Kim Mulkey. Like, round of applause. What happens when Kim Mulkey gets to a Final Four? What happens when Jay Johnson gets to Omaha? What happens if Matt McMahon can even get LSU men's basketball into the Sweet 16? And what happens when Brian Kelly gets 10 wins, then 13 wins, and get your ass to a playoff and start smacking Nick Saban and Alabama's ass? You know what's going to happen? We're going to build a damn statue of Scott Woodward out in front of football ops. So what's going to happen? And everybody panicking about Stephanie Rimpey going to Nevada. The mastermind behind all of this is not Stephanie Rimp. God, I can't believe I got to say this. Scott Woodward's the effing AD. Did she have a big part of playing it? Sure. He is the man that's got to go to the boosters and strike the checks. You just gave him in. Guys, Brian Kelly has $90 million guaranteed. $90 million. Yeah, Stephanie Rimp, the associate AD, was the one doing that. Get out of here with that bullshit. Get out of here with that bullshit. Big Game Boomer Show. What's up, Big Game? my man with all the edits. Either he gonna make a fan base happy or he gonna piss them off. But what's up, buddy? How's everything going? He says, will LSU finish last in the SEC West, or will it be Auburn? It's interesting, Big Game Boomer. What didn't y'all just lose a natty? Didn't y'all's ass just come in here and lose a natty? Big Game Boomer. Great what do you call those edits you make, bro? They're cute. This man's going to say that LSU Death Valley on a Saturday night is not the number one stadium in the country post 6 p.m. on a Saturday night. Get out of here with that shit. Last time I remember LSU playing Oklahoma, Justin Jefferson. He went full Booker T. Y'all remember Booker T? 5-time. Get out of here with that, man. Win a natty first. Brother, you got to win a natty before you can talk shit to a program that's won more natties in 20 years than you've gotten there. Come on, dude. Uh-oh. Mario Colada in the building. LSU baseball got a pitching coach? Yeah, Mario. Shit. Big Game Boomer says, OU never comes in last place. They never win national titles either. Yo, this guy, Mike Bianco, just like in the strip club, throwing them dollar bills. Uh-oh. Here it is. Pooh, take that down. Take it down, Pooh. Take it down. I don't want to get flagged. Take it down, Pooh. Pooh, the last time I did that, we got banned for a week. We can't do that now. What y'all doing, man? Pooh was coming for you. But hey, Big Game Boomer, you better be glad I told Pooh to take that down because he was about to clap your cheeks. All right. A couple more, we'll get out of here. Uh-oh. What this is? Oh, okay. Here we go. Pooh Bear, can we zoom in on that any? Actually, you know what, Pooh? We're going to bring you up here because we got about 4 minutes anyway. Pooh Bear's in the building. Pooh, I mean, can you read off Justin Jefferson's stats for me? It would 14?
Yeah. 14 receptions, 227 yards, and
oh no, Pooh froze.
4.
Oh, and you got the dreads.
4.
Go Booker T. Go.
Yeah. 4 of them things.
4 times.
Yeah, okay. I'll never forget. Ricky actually sent a text to mid game to Justin and said, "Man, stop! You making mama cry."
Big Game Boomer says that's just one game, and LSU doesn't have anything since. Neither do you. I mean, Big Game. I'm not trying to be rude to you, bud. I was kind of just joking with you. Now you're getting a little. It seems a little depressing here. Buddy, go make some edits. You know what I mean? Like, stop. I mean, Pooh, is it just me? Listen, I will talk some shit to Alabama fans, but I'm not talking shit to them. Bro, is it just me, Pooh? You gotta win something before you come in here and you start as Boosie would say, you want to talk stuff, you want to run your mouth, you want some gangsters out front of your house. I mean, am I going crazy here?
I mean, you got to do something. You got to have a leg to stand on, and looks like they've actually been getting bent over every time they get to a chance to win.
Every time. I mean, what are we supposed to do with this here? I mean, anyway, all right, Pooh. So we had an interesting conversation. So it'll take us about 2 minutes to answer this, and it was on Twitter Spaces last night.
Right.
I think y'all did the poll. Y'all show's coming up in about 30 minutes.
Yes.
What was the biggest impact, I think, tell me what was your poll on Twitter?
Pulling it up now for you guys. We did a poll.
Thanks, big game. We're just messing around, dude.
Basically, and asked what news brought you the most joy this week? Michaela Williams commit, Kyle Parker's commit, or the baseball transfers? And clearly, the baseball transfers won 68.4%. That also takes me to something that we talked about in Twitter space, as far as what is LSU more known for, baseball or football?
Oh,
and
God,
we yeah, I know, but it's a lot of. It's just interesting that 68% of the people were more excited about baseball than they were about football, and football was in last place. So, not saying that we don't care about football. It's just the fact that.
Well, and if it were, and I don't mean this to disrespect Kyle Parker at all, okay?
Right.
If it would have been Dante Moore probably would have won it, okay? Because he's a quarterback, and I think it's cyclical. But listen, again, football, baseball, basketball. And look, and Pooh, there's really no reason, and this is what Kim Mulkey's doing. This is why Kim Mulkey's already having success. There's really not a lot of reason that Michaela Williams should be that high, okay? But, okay, she's the number one recruit in the country. She's a big deal, man. And quite honestly, I don't think people understand what the baseball transfers really mean and what they really do, okay? And, dude, Pooh, we have never seen a freshman in all of college baseball do what Tommy Tanks did. Dude, he hit almost 30 home runs. 30. So now as a starting pitcher, you go up there and say, who the hell am I going to throw it to? Dylan Cruz or Tommy Tanks? It's a very good problem for Jay to have, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and if I don't throw it to them two, here comes Joe Bear, and God bless it, if he connects one, he is going to send that son of a bitch to Saturn. And don't think or don't believe that Trey Morgan's not going to clear the bases himself. Well, and look, here's the craziest thing, and we'd have to pull up Trey's stats. Trey sneakily hit over 300. Trey was hitting below 300, okay? Yeah. And somehow, some way, found a way and came up with some clutch hits down there in the SEC tournament, and had some clutch hits, and Hattiesburg as well. And all he did is just dominate at the plate. I mean, he's not your home run hitting guy, but who are you going to throw to? Is my question. You can't throw to Cruz. You can't throw to Tanks. You can't throw to Morgan, and a healthy Morgan at that. So, they gave the kid some toys. And he can't stop. Is this Trey Morgan stats? Trey Morgan stats, yeah. Okay, so he finished the season at 324. Hurt. Let's see, 18 doubles, 82 hits, 50 runs. So I mean, look, he's right there. I mean, this was a season where he was hurt. Home runs 5. I mean, so he didn't really 5. But here's the big thing, Pooh. Look at the level of RBIs in 1 year. He goes from 42 to 54. Okay, I wish we could do like some advanced analytical stats. Like, what was his batting average with runners in scoring position? Had to be dominant. Okay, Pooh Bear, y'all have a show coming up, 7:30. Well, I'll let you announce it. Who is y'all's guest for tonight? What y'all talking about? We got the former wide receiver for our Fighting Tigers, number 19, Derek Dillon, will be in the building. He's going to talk to us about his time at LSU, also this past USFL season. We'll be talking about, of course, everything from the College World Series, draft recap with the great, and Daniel's going to give us his baseball take. Well, he sure as hell is not going to give you a hairline, but I mean. But no, we got we got a lot of good things coming up, so looking forward to it. All right, 7:30, the Golden Boot Pod. Guys, my name's Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We will see you guys again tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.